Maureen, are you there? I was just wondering what time you think you're going to be coming today. Please get back to me when you see this message.
I think I'm probably going to be out of the house for another 2 hours or so. Why do you ask, Nima? Is there something that you need from me?
Well, I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind picking up a couple of the boxes of that tea that I like so much. You know the one, right?
Yeah, I think I know what kind you're talking about. I can do that for you, no problem.
But I also just have one more question for you. Do you really need to have a job where you have to leave the house to go and do it? I mean, I think things would be much better off if you found a job that you could do while you were still at home, don't you think?
I know that you really want me to be at home more often, but I just can't concentrate on my work if I'm there all day. It's a lot easier for me to focus on my work and develop a good pace if I'm doing what I need to do outside of the house.
Well, I understand your feelings on the matter, but you need to stop being selfish about all this. I mean, when you're out of the house, the only way that I can get a hold of you is by texting you for every little thing that I need.
Well, I'm really sorry that texting me is such a difficult thing for you to do. But I think it's fair to say that I also do my best to help you with anything you need while I'm at home, and I run plenty of errands for you while I'm out too.
But it isn't the same. How am I supposed to know that you're really listening to what I'm trying to tell you if you aren't home? Oh, right, that actually reminds. I have more things that I needed to ask you about. Are you keeping in contact with my daughter Sarah at all?
Sarah? No, we don't actually chat all that often, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? You two don't keep in touch at all? I wonder what that girl could be up to.
Did something happen? Are you worried about her for some reason or something like that?
Well, it's just that she got married and then ran off to go live with her husband and his parents right away. But have you ever met in-laws? The mother especially seems like a really strict woman, and I just hope that Sarah isn't letting herself be bullied by her is all.
Oh, I see. Well, I understand why you would be nervous, but I think it'll be okay. After all, I moved in with you, all right, after Andrew and I got married.
Oh, well, let's not get carried away and pretend that you were anything like my little girl at all. I mean, you're clearly more crafty and willing to try to get out of the work that you should be doing. But my little Sarah isn't so conniving, and she might really be letting herself get taken advantage of. I just worry that she is going to let her mother-in-law boss her around and do whatever she tells her to.
Well, I do think Sarah is a really nice girl. She probably just wants to please those around her.
That's what I'm saying. But since she is like that, I think that she should have asked to not live with her husband's parents in the first place.
Well, those may be your feelings, but I guess until Sarah herself comes out and says something about not liking the situation, all we can do is watch and hope she's okay. But I am sure that she's gonna be just fine. She's a clever girl, and if she was in a bad spot, she would say something.
You really think so? You know, I think that you're being a little insensitive to my worries here.
I'm really sorry that you feel that way. I'm really not trying to be cold towards you or anything like that at all.
I just thought that you would be a bit more nervous like I am about Sarah, since you're basically in the same shoes as her. You really are a selfish person, you know that? You really ought to think about other people before yourself. I just don't think that she is going to be able to always find excuses on how to avoid doing the things her mother-in-law asks her to do like you do.
Okay, well then, if you're so nervous about how your daughter is doing, why don't you go and try calling her yourself?
I tried asking her once, and she told me that she was just fine. I didn't want to press the matter anymore because I didn't want her to get upset with me.
Well, if Sarah is telling you that she's okay, then maybe you should just trust that she is. I really don't see what the big deal is. I get that you're upset because she's moved away, but this was always going to happen. And if she says she's okay, then I think that's that.
I just can't deal with you anymore. You really don't know anything at all, do you? I'm not trying to tell her what to do, but I just thought that I could come to you with my problems. Of course, I should have known that someone like you would never even try to understand or sympathize with a poor old lady like me. Even though I'm your mother-in-law, you're really going to act like it's such a chore having me to talk to you about this?
I'm really, really sorry that you feel that way, Nima, but it seems like there's very little that I can do about that.
I mean, I might be able to stand you a bit more if you did something useful for once, like give me a grandchild. But you can't even do that for me. Irene, are you there? Just how long are you going to be staying out tonight, huh? I mean, do you have any idea at all what time it is right now? It's 7 p.m. and you're still not home. What's the matter with you?
Nima, look, I told you already that I was going to be a little late coming home tonight. I had a dinner that I had to go to as part of work, and that took a little time after I normally got off.
I know very well that you told me you were going to be a little late. But I didn't think that you were going to be out until the deep depths of the night like this.
Nima, it's literally only 7 at night right now. The sun has barely even set.
You mean it's already 7 at night and it's pitch black outside? I can't believe that a married woman like you is out roaming the streets at night like this. I mean, your husband is already home, so why aren't you? How dare you make my poor little Andrew make dinner all by himself?
I think that my husband is an adult who knows very well how to provide for himself, actually.
That isn't the point that I'm trying to get at right now. What I'm trying to say is that my poor son spends all day at work, and when he comes back home, you still expect him to do work around the house too. Don't you realize that that's what a good wife should be doing for her husband and not the other way around?
Nima, we have been over this again and again. I am also working, remember? I might not go to work in an office or anything like Andrew does, but I have my own business that I use to contribute to the family.
Well, you need to quit that job. It is obviously distracting you from your more important wifely duties. Besides, my son makes enough to take care of all of us. It's not like he even needs your income.
That isn't why I'm working. Even if Andrew does make enough money to care for us, the money I make goes into our retirement account. We're also putting a little aside for when we have kids, so that they can have something to look forward to when they're adults.
Oh, please. You're already in your 30s and you don't have a single kid. Are you really telling me that you're still planning on having some?
That's right. Andrew and I have talked about this, and we both agreed that we wanted children.
You're really serious about this, aren't you? Don't you realize that it's going to be impossible for you to have any kids of your own? Your body just won't be able to take it. It's obvious that the reason you feel the need to work so much is because you can't have any children.
Nima, I really appreciate your input into this, but this is something that Andrew and I have decided between ourselves, okay?
Now look, I understand that the two of you are probably going to want kids pretty soon here. But just how do you think you're going to raise any children if you can't even take care of the house right now? You also have a long way to go before your cooking is at the level that it should be to be a good wife. And you always wait such a long time before you clean up the house. Do you really think that you're going to be able to do all that it takes to raise a child when you can't take care of your own house?
Okay then, your point is very much taken, Nima. I will make sure to be more diligent about keeping the house clean from now on.
How dare you try and tell me that while you're out doing who knows what this late at night?
I'm not doing anything that my husband wouldn't approve of. I told you that I have to have dinner as part of a work thing, and that's all.
Irene, you still don't seem to understand. The most important job that a woman can do is making sure that matters in her house are always taken care of. If you can't do that first, then I don't think that you should be working in the first place. It's clear that you want to cling on to this job so that you can run away from your true responsibilities and leave my son to clean up after you. Isn't that right?
It really isn't right at all. I mean, you're not even close to being right.
I've had just about enough out of you. All you do is talk, but your actions reveal the kind of person that you truly are. Here, I thought having you come to live with us would make things easier on me, but all it's done is stress me out having to look after you.
Well, if you're really so against us living together, maybe we should just call this whole thing off and Andrew and I will go find our own place.
Wait, what? Are you kidding me? You didn't really just suggest that, did you?
I mean, you said it yourself. Having me live with you is just adding more stress into your life. If that's really the case, then I think it might be best if we just don't live with you at all.
I never, ever said that I wanted you to move out or that I wanted to stop living with you both. I'm just trying to teach you how to be a more responsible adult. But it's obvious that you want to move out, so why don't you just go if that's what you really want to do?
Are you sure about that, Nima?
Are you saying that you're really going to move out?
I am saying that if this is the way things are gonna be, I might just have to have a chat with Andrew about this. Anyways, my client just showed up, so I have to go now.
Oh, sure. Your client, huh? Well, I hope you have a nice dinner while your husband and mother-in-law have to fend for themselves at home. But just know that you're never going to find another man as good as my son. Hey, Irene, are you there? I'm really, really sorry to be bothering you at work, but I was just hoping that you had a moment to chat about something with me really quick.
Oh, hey Sarah. It's been a while since I've heard from you. Yeah, I can talk right now. How's it going? Is everything okay with you?
Well, I just kind of wanted to talk to you about something. Maybe I really just need someone to complain to now that I think about it. But I was hoping that we could keep this just between us and not tell my mom about it.
Yeah, of course, I understand. Whatever you want to tell me can just be our little secret, okay?
Thank you so much for understanding, and I'm sorry to be so furtive about this. But the fact of the matter is that, well, my mom can just be so annoying.
Well, I know that it can seem that way, but I'm sure that your mom is just the way she is because she's so worried about you. But is that all you wanted to talk about? Did something happen between the two of you that upset you or something?
The real truth is that I'm thinking of getting a divorce.
Wait, really? You want to get a divorce? What happened? Is everything all right?
I wouldn't say everything is all right, but it's not something I want to get done right away either. I keep thinking about it over and over again.
Did something happen between you and your husband to make you feel this way? I know that you've been living with him and his parents, but is that not going well?
It isn't going well at all. You might not believe me, but my mother-in-law is just a demanding bully, and she's always telling me what to do. I really just can't stand her anymore. Even just hearing her voice sends a chill up my spine now. But I really don't think that she likes me at all, and I just feel so judged and underappreciated. It just has much less to do with my husband and way more to do with his mother. But I really am thinking about ending this and just coming back home.
Oh, Sarah, I am so sorry that you're going through all of this. That must be really hard on you to be struggling with those thoughts.
It's really not fun, I'll say that much. I'm sorry to be dumping all of this on you like this, though. But the latest incident was that my mother-in-law got really mad at me just because I'm working? She told me that I needed to be focusing more on taking care of the house and worry less about money.
I know what it's like to be told that, don't worry. It really doesn't feel good at all. In fact, if I'm being honest, I can sympathize with you a lot because your mom does the same thing to me. I've been getting pretty fed up with her as well.
Wait, what? My mom is doing the exact same thing to you as well? I had no idea that you were going through any of this like I was.
Well, it's true. Just reading what you've typed has reminded me of the kind of situation that I'm in now, too. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to take away from your story, but I'm just starting to feel like I'm reaching my limits with your mom.
I see. Does that mean that you're thinking of divorcing Andrew over our mom, then? Doesn't he do anything to stand up for you and try and tell our mom to back off?
He doesn't do anything, really. But I don't blame him for that. Your mom is very strategic about when she chooses to say mean things to me. She almost never does in front of Andrew, so I never have any proof that I can point to.
I guess I never got that sense when I visited you all before as well.
It's okay, I'm not asking anyone to believe me flat out. But I do just wish that I could feel like I was good enough for your mother. Although at this rate, I think that my patience with this whole thing is going to give out before that ever happens.
I know exactly what you mean! It's so hard to talk about these things without feeling that you're the one who isn't doing enough. I mean, I bet just trying to explain this to my husband would really shock him, and then it would just lead to a big fight between everyone.
Exactly. And I really don't want to get in the way between you all and your mom or be the source of drama. I just want everyone to get along. That's what I was hoping would happen when I moved in.
Irene, I am so sorry that you've been having to go through this. And for basically a whole year at this point, right? But I am glad that I know I'm not alone in this anymore. I guess it's made me realize that I've been just thinking about myself in all of this.
Well, I feel the same way. I was so busy focusing on just dealing with your mom that I never stopped to think about how you might be doing. But it's just been so much to deal with lately, and I really am at my wit's end.
So then, do you have any idea what it is that you think you're going to do about my mom?
I really just don't think I can live with her any longer. I think I need to tell my husband and your mom about this, though.
Well, if you want, I would be more than happy to be there when you had that talk with them.
Are you sure about that? I really wouldn't want to get you in trouble with your own family or anything like that.
I actually think I just thought of something that could work.
Really? You have a plan? What are you thinking? I'd love to hear it.
I'll tell you all about it, but I just hope that you don't mind if I ask you for help for parts of it. Irene, I just wanted to talk to you about what we all discussed yesterday. Are you really going to be moving out of the house? Are you sure that that's what you want to do?
Yes, Nima, I'm very sure that this is going to be what is best for us all. And I've talked to Andrew about it as well, and he agrees with me. I just can't see the point of staying in this house any longer, and I think it's wearing all of us down.
But please, won't you rethink this decision of yours? I mean, both Andrew and Sarah said such mean things to me yesterday. I already apologized if I was being a bit strict about things with you, and I really didn't mean to make you feel like you were being bullied.
I realize that. But what you did was much deeper than advice being pushed too far. You were careful about what you said and when you said it. You made sure to never be mean to me in front of Andrew, and you did your best to leave me with no evidence of what you were doing.
I really didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. I swear it.
Even if that were true, the fact of the matter is that you said that living with me brings you nothing but stress, remember? So I think if that's the case, then me moving out is going to be what's best for us both.
But if you and Andrew both move out, then I'm going to be living all by myself.
Well, weren't you already living on your own before Andrew and I were married in the first place? Even Sarah and her husband were living on their own before they got married and moved in with his parents.
But that was back when I was so much younger than I am now. Haven't you seen the news? Don't you know how often it is that old people's noses get targeted for robbery? I've seen countless articles about it.
I'm sorry, but even if somebody did break in, I still wouldn't feel any obligation to protect you at all. If you're really that worried about home security, though, there are plenty of alarm services that you can have installed instead.
Irene, please, you have to rethink this. I really am sorry for the way that I acted towards you. I promise that I won't ever treat you that way again. You have to believe me, please.
Nima, you should know that there's something that Sarah asked me to do.
Sarah asked you to do something? What is it? Does it have anything to do with what we're talking about right now?
She wanted me to tell you this, so here goes. She wanted you to know that she is also being bullied by her own mother-in-law at her husband's house.
Wait, what? You mean my own daughter is being bullied by her mother-in-law?
That's right. It's actually gotten so bad for her that she's thinking of divorcing her husband just to get out of the situation.
I knew it. I knew this whole time that her mother-in-law was a no-good strict woman. You can just tell by looking at her face. Well, if that's the case, then I think that Sarah should get a divorce. I refuse to accept that this is happening to my daughter.
So, you think that Sarah should leave her husband for the way that her mother-in-law treats her?
Of course I do. That's the only logical move for her to make at this point.
But you do realize that you're doing the exact same thing to me, don't you? So, what do you think that should mean for Andrew and I wonder?
Well, I mean, I'm different. I didn't know that I was actually being so mean to you, you see. So, I don't think you can really compare the two situations.
I see. But I talked to Sarah about our situations and we realized that we actually had a lot in common.
So, then what are you saying? Are you trying to tell me that you're thinking about leaving Andrew too?
Actually, that's not all that I had to say to you. Sarah also wanted me to let you know that I guess for the past few days, her mother-in-law has stopped being so strict with her.
So then, her mother-in-law stopped bullying her. Is that what you're telling me?
That's right. I guess that she talked to her husband and mother-in-law about what I was doing. She mentioned that I would be moving out because I couldn't stand living with you anymore. And since then, Sarah's mother-in-law has seemed to calm down. So I guess she wanted to keep Sarah in the house and agreed to quit being so mean to her.
So then, does this mean that Sarah actually isn't going to be getting divorced after all?
That's right. I mean, they've only been living together for something like 3 months. I think that Sarah is going to give her mother-in-law a second chance after this and see how things go.
I see. But then, if Sarah was able to give her mother-in-law a chance, then surely that must mean that you can give me a chance, right?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid this is where Sarah and I's situation is different. I've already lived with you for a whole year, and I never once got the sense that you were going to stop without this intervention. But I've spent so long living like this that I just don't want to subject myself to you anymore.
Please, Irene, I'm so sorry about everything that I did. I didn't want things to go this way.
I'm afraid that it's far too late for you to be apologizing to me now. It's been too long, and you can't just whisk away all that you've done with words.
But you're always smiling and look so happy. How was I supposed to know that I was upsetting you?
I already explained to you that I was being very patient and magnanimous towards you. I thought that if I just stayed positive, that things would change and that you and I could have gotten along.
But what about now? Don't you want to try and get along with each other now? I don't care if you go out and work. I'll do more to take care of the house. Just please don't leave me.
I told you that it's too late. I'm not going to be changing my mind. Now, please, just accept that this is happening, Nima. A few weeks later, Andrew and I began looking for new apartments, and before long, we were moved out. Andrew was also very apologetic to me about not realizing what was going on sooner. He told me that he had noticed he would have suggested moving out himself. Either way, he understood that I just couldn't live there any longer. I told him that I really didn't want to say anything and that I didn't want to cause a fight within his family. He greatly appreciated my concern and told me that now it was his turn to take care of me. So, in the end, Nima ended up living all on her own. She began to text me incessantly, and I would just tell her that she did this to herself and that she wasn't helping her cause by texting me like this. As for Sarah, we're keeping in touch more often, having realized that we were going through the same ordeal. I heard from her, however, that things are going much better and that her mother-in-law is much kinder to her now. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
want to talk. I want to solve this issue so that we can go back to the way things were. Because right now, I feel like we're just still fighting and nothing's been solved.
So that's what you want then? You just want things to go back to the way they were? Fine, then if that's what you really want, then you can go ahead and apologize to me. And after that, you can just leave me alone for the rest of the day. How does that sound?
But I don't get it. Why should I have to apologize to you? I mean, do you even remember the reason that you and I were fighting in the first place?
I just remembered that you got into one of your moods all of a sudden. Then you were all acting all pissy towards me, and so I said something, and that's when we started fighting.
You've got to be kidding me. Is that really what you think happened between us? You really don't remember at all what the fight was about, do you?
What are you talking about this time?
I mean that you promised me that you were going to come over yesterday, don't you remember? You said that you were really craving pie, and I said that I would bake one for you if you would come over and eat it with me. But then hours later, you told me that you were out with friends and too busy, and that's why I got mad at you.
Well, did I promise that I'd be there? Because I never ever remember saying anything like that.
But you did. You said it the last time that you and I were together. Do you really not remember saying that to me at all?
I don't know, I was drunk. I don't remember anything of that at all. I was probably just saying whatever I thought you wanted to hear, but I didn't mean it.
But I don't get it. I mean, it would have been a date. You really don't think I'd take something like that seriously? I really don't get why you're being so stubborn about apologizing to me about this.
Told you that I shouldn't have to. You just got all mad at me all of a sudden over nothing. If this is what you were mad about, then you should have said something earlier. Otherwise, it's like you just suddenly turned on me and I had no idea what any of it was about.
Okay then, I am sorry, Paul. I'm sorry that I didn't explain what I was mad about to you more clearly earlier. But I just feel like you've been acting a bit flaky and have been maybe brushing me off recently. And then you always just try to laugh it off or pretend like it's never your fault afterwards. So I guess I'm just feeling pulled about without getting any real answers as to what's going on, you know?
Okay, I understand what you're saying and I'm sorry. That wasn't my intention to make you feel that way.
I just mean that we're going to be getting married, you know? But despite that, I still feel like you and I are fighting more than ever these days. Does that make sense?
I see, so that's what's bothering you about all this. Well then, what if we just call off the wedding entirely?
Paul, please, I really don't think a joke like that is appropriate at a time like this. I mean, we're not really going to let some tiny little spat like this ruin our whole marriage, are you?
Yeah, sure. A joke. I guess I just wanted to see how you would react to me saying that is all.
Well, we've been together for 5 years now, so I think it's going to take a little more than this to get rid of me. But anyways, I guess next weekend we're finally going to go to your parents and tell them that we're getting married. I'm just glad that we'll be there for each other. I'm so nervous just thinking about doing it. So I would just really like it if we could put all this behind us and look forward to doing that.
Yeah, you're right. It would be better if we could just put this all behind us. But I just worry that these kinds of fights are going to continue between us.
They might, but I think as long as we can take the time to talk out our issues and move past them in a healthy way, that we'll be okay. I mean, that's better than holding in a bunch of angry feelings until we let them come out towards each other.
Well, I just hope that we're actually able to get back to being the way we were and that we can move past this stuff. Because if I'm being honest with you, I'm still pretty upset about the whole thing.
Well, if you're really that upset over this, then maybe we should put off making the announcement to your parents. At least until we feel that we're in a good place in our relationship to do so.
Hey, Nicole, where are you? You said that you were going to be here about 5 minutes ago now. You don't want to be late to telling my parents that we're going to get married, right?
Paul, I'm so sorry. I don't think that I'm going to be able to make it today.
Oh, wait, what? Are you serious? You're really not going to make it on time? What happened? Did you oversleep or something like that?
Well, I was actually already on my way over to meet you, but as I was coming out of the subway, I fell down some stairs. I think I really hurt my leg, and so I called the ambulance, and I'm at the hospital right now having my leg looked at. They're pretty sure that I broke something in there, though.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Did you really want to get out of doing this so badly that you literally threw yourself down some stairs?
They're saying that I might have to stay in the hospital for a while. So I'm sorry, but I just won't be able to make it today on time. But please tell your mom and dad how sorry I am and that I never saw this coming, but that I really wish I could be there.
You have no idea how hard it was for me to move around my schedule to fit this in. And now you're telling me that it's not even going to be happening?
I really am sorry, Paul. I'm not any happier about this than you are. I hope you know that.
Is that why you're wasting my parents' time as well then? Don't you realize how much trouble you're causing for all of us? I mean, it's probably just a little sprain and you're seriously just going to wait around the hospital all day?
I really am sorry about this, Paul. I swear. I really did want to go and talk to your parents today, and I never thought this was going to happen.
If you really mean that, then why don't you leave the hospital and come over to see us right now? I mean, do you really need to show a little backbone so that my parents can see that you're really serious about this? Or do you really think so little about our marriage together that you can't even do that for me?
Paul, please. I really don't think that I can do anything like that right now. I mean, my leg just got broken. And I've already been checked into the hospital, so it's not like I can just walk out of here, you know?
Wow. So that you're really just not going to come at all then? That's what you're telling me?
It's not that I don't want to go and be there with you all. It's that I literally just broke my leg. You know that, right? You know that I didn't do this on purpose and that I want to be there with you so badly, right? You don't actually think that I'm just faking or being overdramatic, do you? You know that I wouldn't do something like that.
Well, what in the world am I supposed to tell my parents about this, huh? I mean, why are you leaving it up to me to explain to them why you're wasting all of our time here?
Do you really think that your mom and dad would be that upset with me over this? I mean, the times I've met them, they seem like really understanding people. I'm sure they wouldn't mind too much, right?
You really can be so stupid sometimes. Do you know that? You've made a huge mistake by doing this. Of course my parents are going to be mad about this. They're probably going to be furious about this.
You don't need to talk to me that way, Paul. I mean, people get injured and have to cancel on things all the time. I don't really get how it's as big of a deal as you're making it out to be. Besides, it's not like I did this on purpose or anything like that.
I don't care why you did it. The fact of the matter is that you were the one who fell down the stairs, weren't you?
Well, yes, I know what I did and I accept responsibility for it. But right before I fell, I swear I felt something hit me in the back and that's what sent me flying. I just lost my balance and then I ended up falling after that.
What on earth are you talking about now? You probably just got bumped by someone's backpack or something. But if you don't know how to keep your own balance, then that sounds like a you problem.
How can you say that? I don't understand why you're being so cruel right now. I mean, I'm in the hospital and you don't seem worried at all for me. I would think that you would at least know better than to try and make an injured person feel even worse about themselves.
Oh, right. Are you okay?
It's a bit late for that now, don't you think? Look, Paul, I think the fact of the matter is that I just won't be able to make it today, so please, give your parents my best and tell them that I'm very sorry for all of this. I'll message you again when I have some updates from the doctors.
Hey, Nicole, how are things going at the hospital? Do you think that we could call right now? I have some big news to tell you, and I'd really like to call and talk to you about it.
Hey, Paul, I'm sorry, I would call, but there are other patients in the room with me and I don't want to be rude. But I can text, no problem, so if you want, you can just tell me through that.
Yeah, okay. I guess I can just type it all out for you, if you prefer that.
It's not a problem with me, so what is this big news that you wanted to tell me?
Well, I'm really sorry to be telling you this while you're in the hospital, but the wedding is off. I'm officially calling off our engagement.
Wait, so you don't want to get married to me anymore? But why? Why are you doing this now? I don't get it.
Well, you see, the thing is that I just can't be married to an irresponsible girl like you. You really have no idea just how furious my parents were with you. So I'm sorry, but I just really don't know how we could ever make things work between us. That's why we have to break up.
You've got to be kidding me, right? Please tell me that you're not being serious.
I'm sorry, but it's the way things have to be. You've just made such a poor impression on my parents that I don't know how we're ever supposed to recover from this. And so I just really can't see our wedding going well at all. All we'd end up doing is hurting each other. You understand that, right? It would just be better if we called it here before we cause each other many more pain than we have now.
Paul, I think I should let you know that your parents are here right now apologizing to me and asking after me. So I really don't get what you mean when you say they're upset.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Are my parents really over there right now? What are you talking about?
If you think that I'm lying to you, why don't you try calling your dad right now? Or your mom, either one, since they're both here with me now.
Hold on a second. I'm confused. What's going on here? Why on earth are my parents over there with you right now?
Well, I messaged your mom the other day and told her about what happened. You do know that we have each other's numbers, don't you?
Of course I know that. But what I don't understand is why my parents are there visiting you in the hospital.
Well, your parents wanted to come and apologize to me in your place. So they're here, in front of the other patients that I'm sharing the room with, checking in on me and apologizing for you. They're talking about how sorry they are that their son is such an idiot and how they're disappointed in you.
But I don't get it. You're still not telling me what I want to know. Why are my parents there? What are they apologizing for? If anyone should be sorry, it should be you. You're the one who ruined our schedule that day, not anyone else.
Are you really sure about that? There's nothing that comes to mind about what they could be doing here?
Of course not. You're the only one who did something wrong. We were all waiting at the house for you to show up, and you never did.
Paul, I know it was you. You were the one who pushed me down the stairs, and I've already gone to the police about it.
You went to the police?
That's right, and that's why your parents are here. They are apologizing for you and also begging for me to retract my report. Which I won't, of course.
But I don't get it. Why are you doing this to me? I didn't even do anything. You're just accusing me of things that I never did.
We both know that isn't true. You were there at the subway when I was there.
What are you talking about? Of course I wasn't. Why would you even think something like that? I was at my parents' house the whole time waiting for you to show up.
No, you were at the station and you were the one who knocked me down the stairs. We both know the truth, so just admit it.
What are you talking about? You're crazy, do you know that? You can't just accuse me of this.
But you were the one who did it. You pushed me on my back and caused me to fall down the stairs.
Are you sure you didn't hit your head or something when you fell? Because you were just sounding crazy. Of course I didn't do anything like that.
Yes, you did, and there are several witnesses who saw you running away from the station afterwards.
Oh yeah? Like who? Who are these witnesses of yours who you've convinced to lie about me?
Well, there's the owner of my apartment building, for one. He was there at the station when we both were. I'm pretty sure that you've met him at least once, haven't you?
No, you're wrong. He probably just saw someone that looked like me, but it really wasn't me. It can't have been.
No, there is no doubt about it at all. It was definitely you. The police even looked at some camera footage from the area and they saw a figure resembling you running away as well.
So it just resembled me and that's enough evidence for them to arrest me? Please, you have to give me a break. Tell me it wasn't me.
I'm afraid that I can't do that. But what I don't get is why you would do this when your parents didn't even know about me.
What do you mean by that? I still don't understand.
I mean that your parents told me that they had no idea that I was even going to be coming over to see them today at all. They didn't have any idea that we were supposed to be going to their house to make our big announcement. You never told them about any of it at all, did you? And that's why you forced me into a spot where I would have to cancel at the last second.
You have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe you really did hit your head when you fell because you just sound insane.
Don't you dare talk to me like that, Paul. You know what you did. I knew that you were acting strangely when I told you that I fell. You didn't seem surprised or concerned for me at all. It was as if you already knew that I had been injured.
But I really didn't do anything.
You can deny it all you want, but that isn't going to change the fact that the police are after you now.
Please, you have to tell them it was a mistake.
Do you really think that I'm going to do that? Give me a break. I don't care how much you offered to pay me off with. I want justice. You will be punished for this.
You can't be serious. Please don't do this to me.
I hope they take you out of the house in handcuffs.
But what happens if my job hears about this?
Oh, I'm sure they will, especially when you don't show up for work because you're in jail. I guess this means you can kiss that cushy career of yours down the drain. And I can't imagine any big company would ever want to work with you again. You're finished.
Please, you can't do this to me. You're really going to try and ruin my life over this?
That's right. But you should know that even your parents just tried to bribe me with some cash, but I turned them down.
I don't get it. How can my parents just be going along with this? I mean, there's not even any proof.
I told your mom all about what had happened, and when I told her I had witnesses, that was enough to get her to believe me. That's why they came over right away to beg for mercy for you.
I don't believe it. That just means that my mom really did just accept that that's something I could have done.
I guess that just goes to show everyone things about you, really. I was talking to your mom about this, and she told me all about how violent you would get when you were younger. And how this isn't the first time that you've injured people, even ex-girlfriends. Your mom told me that she thought you were going to bring that last girl over to announce an engagement as well.
But we just ended up fighting too much, and I knew that I needed a way to get out of the relationship.
Yes, and then that time your parents had to go and visit her and pay her off as well.
This can't be happening to me. This isn't fair.
But I guess now I understand why you were treating me the way you were. This is just a pattern to you.
I wasn't treating you like anything. You were the one who was treating me poorly.
You treated me like I was someone you could just brush off, not like your fiancé. That's why we got into so many fights, not to mention the affairs you were having behind my back.
Affairs? Come on now. You know that I wasn't doing anything like that. You're crazy.
You know, I might just have a little more respect for you if you could at least admit that you've done all of this. We already all know the truth. Why can't you just be honest with me and yourself? Anyways, you should know that you are going to have to pay all the cancellation fees for our wedding plan. After all, it's all your fault that the wedding is being called off.
Okay, all right. I'll be honest with you. The truth is that I met another woman a few weeks ago, and that's why I had to get rid of you.
So the truth finally comes out.
But I knew that things would go bad if you found out, so that's why I had to get rid of you. It was also I can marry this girl who I really love.
I do appreciate you being honest with me now. Maybe your new girlfriend can help you pay down all of the money you're going to owe me. Unless she was also in on this, in that case, I'm afraid you both might be liable for the crime.
No, she had nothing to do with this. Don't drag her into this too.
I guess that's really a matter for the police to decide then, isn't it? They'll know if she did have anything to do with it.
I swear that she didn't really do anything. Why did you have to get my parents and now her involved in all this?
I didn't get them involved in anything. You were the one doing all of the acting in this. I hope they throw you in jail, though.
You're horrible. Do you know that?
Says the person who pushed me down the stairs. After that, the police interviewed other witnesses and finally decided to arrest Paul. They gave him a sentence of 2 years in jail, which spelled out the death of his career. After he got out, he became a shut-in who hardly ever left his apartment. He was worried that people would recognize him and talk behind his back, but I say that it serves him right. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Leah, I just arrived back at home and I'm going to settle down for the night. Good job today talking with my mom and dad for the first time, by the way.
And good job to you as well, Justin. I'm sure it was nerve-wracking for you to have to sit there and watch as I talked to the both of them about myself and wanted to gauge all their reactions, right? Well, the first time is over now, and I think things went well. I guess that means we've both finished meeting one another's family now. I can finally take a moment to catch my breath. I get what you meant, by the way, when you said it can get hard to breathe sometimes because you have to talk so much.
Right? But I am sorry about my mom saying such odd things to you. I have no clue what she meant by wanting to teach you how to become a good wife for me. I already think you're the perfect wife, so the wife you are to me shouldn't mean squat to her, right? Well, anyway, you can just forget about what she was talking about. I'm sure she was just trying to act all mother-like towards you or something.
I understand that. But I'm already planning on going over there this week to see her and learn a few things.
Huh? Did my mom ask you to go over there already?
Yep. I got a call from her a little bit ago saying she wants me to come to her place. She said she's planning to teach me how to cook dishes that you've really liked ever since you were a young man.
You could tell her no, Leah. You don't have to worry about things I liked from back when I was a kid. So forget about going over there to see her again. You were only just over there, and you need at least a couple of weeks to calm down and get your mind together again after seeing her for the first time.
But I only just met with her today, so you really think I can say no to her already? And it's not like things went wrong today between us, right? Actually, I really want to go over to see her and learn more about what foods you like. And I want her to teach me about other things you really like as well. I'm sure you'd be happy seeing your mom and I getting along really well, too.
But I'm telling you that even if she does teach you about things I like when I live with her, it won't compare to what you can cook me now. You are far better than her at cooking, so stick to the recipes you know.
You just happen to eat your mom's cooking all the time growing up, so you might just think mine is good because it's something different from back then. I just want to learn a little from her is all. And at the very least, this will be a good chance for me to bond with her. You know, that's all I'm really in it for, right? I already told you about how it'd be wonderful to become close with her.
If that's what you think you'll gain from all that, then I'm not going to stop you. Well, I suppose you're right. If your dad asked me to go out with him to learn things about you and your past, I'd probably jump on it.
Right? We both want to become closer to one another's parents, so let's just do it. Also, we're going to be together for a very long time, so we'd better get close to each other's family now than never. I mean, you can see that your mom really wants to learn more about me, right?
Thank you, Leah. Going out with my insensitive mom like that.
No worries, Justin, no worries. It's not often that I'm invited over to learn from someone's mom about cooking. But if you could, it'd be wonderful to have you come along with me. You are right about me needing to calm my nerves a little, so having you around should make it a little easier on me.
I can come. You think I'd let you go over to see my mom, who you only just met all by yourself? I'll have the day off, so I'm coming with you.
Thank you. Then this weekend, can you come and get me, and the both of us can go?
Will do. I'll let my mom know that I'll be coming along with you to her house. Hopefully she won't mind that too much.
All right, thank you. Well, today was a long day, so I'm going to get into the bath and then head right to sleep. I have work tomorrow after all.
I'll do the same then. I also wanted to get started here soon. So in the near future, how about the two of us go to the realty agency? I've already been looking all over online for some houses, but I think meeting in person with a realtor would be a whole lot more helpful for us.
Sounds good. I'll start looking for great areas to live as well then. Just let me know what time you want to go and see them so that I can put it on my calendar. Now, I'll see you tomorrow, Justin. Raina, thank you for allowing me to come over and learn more about becoming a good wife with you. It made me really happy to learn more about the cooking that Justin's always enjoyed, and it was so fun learning from you. I hope all my questions weren't too much of a bother for you, and I'll start to put what you taught me this time into practice, okay? If you found today to be that fun, then I'm happy. But to be honest, the food you were preparing for me today was far from the level my cooking is at. So be aware that you will need more lessons in that sort of thing. I suppose that would be so. I'll make sure to practice cooking and preparing those meals some more at my place. Also, today, you came here with Justin, right? That kid came right into the kitchen with you, didn't he? It made it really hard for me to teach you much with him in the room. So, do you mind coming over to my house again sometime? He was just talking too much around us, and that made me lose my concentration. If you'd like, how does this weekend sound? All right. You want to become my son's wife, after all, so I was going to expect you to come this weekend whether you had time to or not. Sounds good. And can you make sure not to tell my son about you coming over to my house this time? Having that kid in this house makes it hard for me to focus on what needs to be done. But this weekend, the two of us are planning to head to the realty agency together. So if he came along with me to your house, we can hop right over to the agency right after. He doesn't have to come into the kitchen or even the house with us while I'm there, right? Well, you can just lie and tell him that you'll have something else going on that day stopping you from going out with him. Are you going to tell me that you can't think this far ahead, Leah? I'm sorry? I see what you're saying. I'll let Justin know that this weekend won't work and we'll have to go another time. Listen here, Leah. I was really thinking that my son would want to marry a far better woman in the future. So when I heard that he wants to marry someone who only had one parent, and worse than that, only had a father as the parent, I was in disbelief. I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing to only be raised by one parent, but... well, you not ever having a mother means you could never learn to do chores, and that you'll have to start learning now, right? Actually, I've been cooking and doing chores around the house ever since I was a little girl. To the point where not even my dad had to help me that much when learning what to do later on with more difficult tasks around the house. But that was self-education, right? You didn't learn anything from your dad, did you? Well, actually, my dad taught me a whole bunch of things. The chores and cooking men do is insignificant to that of what women should be able to do. That's probably why your cooking was so bland and tasted a bit depressing earlier. If you'd like me to accept you as my son's wife, then you're going to have to learn to cook what my family likes to eat. And not just that, but you'll need to learn how to take care of the house properly as well. The next time you're over here, I'm going to see how well you can clean my house. Understood. I'll do my very best to make sure you'll approve of my skills next time. That's right, I'm sure you will, and I don't want you forgetting that feeling you have now. My husband currently works for a very large company. And you are aware that Justin is working for a very famous company, right? When comparing them to you, I have no idea what company you're working at, as I've never even heard of them before. I'm hoping you understand just how little you compare to my family when it comes to your skills and your occupation. If you want me to approve of your guys' marriage, then you'd better listen and learn from everything I say to you. All right, I will. At least you're good at replying to me. Well, this weekend I'll make sure to turn things around with you. And if there's any signs of struggle from you, or you make even a single complaint, I'm calling your marriage to Justin off. I want you to be thankful for giving all my precious time to teach you, and I want you to learn very well from it all. Justin, I have something I'd like to mention about Leah. I do not want you getting married to her anymore, and I'd like for you to call things off with her right now. I knew that woman was completely useless. She was talking back to me non-stop and started to get really angry and shout at me.
Huh?
You shouldn't have any reason to marry someone who only ever had a father and was raised in a poor household, right? I'm sure she's only after your money anyway. She just wants to use you after you both get married, Justin. All right? You break up with her right now. I'm tired of waiting for you to wake up yourself, so just open your eyes and see the problem before you.
The only one here with their eyes shut is you, Mom. You apologize to her right now. If you leave things as they are, you won't be worrying about the marriage, but about your house.
You think I should be apologizing to her? Why me? And what are you talking about when you say worried about the house?
Do you not realize what you've just done to her? You asked for Leah to come over to my house without telling me and then started to bully her. She just called me saying that you poured water all over her head.
Are you kidding me? She's a tattletale now? She is the worst kind of woman, Justin. The only reason I had to pour water over her was as a way to get her to stop talking back and yelling at me. A woman that acts like that towards her mother-in-law deserves to be covered in cold water.
You shouldn't be doing any of this to her. I heard that you invited her back to your house to learn more about being a good wife. But as she sat there doing all the chores for you, you were making fun of her for only having a father and made fun of her father as well. I think she has every right to be upset with you.
I was going to accept her becoming your wife, even though she has no money and never grew up learning anything about being a proper wife. Yet she didn't seem to care about my kindness and wasn't ready for me to try and train her. She has no idea what kind of position she's in compared to me, does she?
I'm at a loss for words here. So this is really how you've been looking at Leah?
Justin, I don't want you marrying into a life of pain and suffering at her hands. You need to learn to throw away useless women like her and find better ones. You have studied and worked so hard to be as successful as you are. So please don't let yourself be taken advantage of by women like her and finish the job by throwing her away. You need to find a woman that fits you much better than her. Now you go and tell her that things are over and that she needs to go.
Mom, I just told you though. If you do not go and apologize to her, you will lose your house. Do you want your husband to lose his job and everything over this?
You think he'd lose his job? But what are you saying, Justin? How does your dad have anything to do with all of this?
Leah's dad didn't want his name making any changes to the life you all have with Leah, so he wanted the three of us to never tell you anything. But I can't hold back this information anymore. Leah's dad is the CEO. And on top of that, he is a top partner and customer to the company that Dad's working for.
What?
When he saw that Leah came back into his house drenched in water and shivering, he was pissed off. She told him it had to do with you making fun of her and him. I wonder how things will turn out for you now, Mom. Right now, Dad is on his way over to Leah's place right now to apologize to her.
Leah is the daughter of a CEO?
Yeah.
But I was told before that her father was just your average company employee.
And that was only done so that you wouldn't get all worked up over him being in such a high position. If you've heard how he's a CEO of a company that is a customer of the company Dad works for, you wouldn't treat Leah the same. But seeing that things turned out far worse by not telling you, I wish we had back then. I seriously never thought my own mom would be picking on my fiancé behind my own back like you have.
Are you sure?
I am. You've really done it now, Mom.
What should I do now? Oh, wait, I'm going to head over to her place right now.
Please do that. However, I'm not sure if she'll accept your apology or not yet.
What have I done, Justin? Why did you never tell me something so important as that first?
That's because I never saw you as the type of person that would bully my wife for any reason. Don't you dare blame me for doing something that only schoolyard bullies do. If what you've done today ends with her father not wanting me to marry her anymore, I'm going to hold that against you for life. Seriously, what have you done, Mom? Even if they do forgive you for what you've done, I might not be able to talk to you again.
Leah, hello. Do you have the time to talk to me right now? Sure. Just the other day, when I went over to your place, you didn't seem to really listen to me at all. So I'd like to come over one more time to apologize to you for what happened. I'd like to come on a day that works for both you and your dad. Do you think you'd be able to allow me to come over and see you? No, I don't need another apology from you. So that must mean you're going to forgive me then? That is something completely different, Raina. Leah, I'm so sorry. I never knew about you being the daughter of a CEO. And from what I've heard, your dad is a huge customer to the company my husband works for, correct? He really is a very successful man then, right? You are only apologizing to me because you heard I'm the daughter of the CEO that happens to fund a lot of what your husband works for, yes? No. That's not why at all. I've just realized that when I was being rude to you, it was not at all okay for me to act that way, and so... I mean, you're going to become my son's wife, and I just wanted to make sure you listened and learned from everything I was trying to teach you. Is that right? However, it did not seem that way to me. You continued to belittle me because of only being raised by my dad by saying I sucked at cleaning, and saying that my dad must be an idiot for not having a wife, and so am I. You also added on that my place must be disgusting because I lack any common sense when it comes to doing chores. In other words, you were making fun of my dad and I that whole time. You weren't trying to teach me how to become a good wife. Rather, you just wanted to pick on me that whole time, right? No. I never meant for any of that to come off as me picking on you. Are you sure about that, Raina? Even before any of that took place a couple days ago, the way you talk about others like myself seems to be way too hurtful. Has nobody talked to you yet about how harsh your language is when you talk to them? Or could it be that you only speak like that when you feel someone is not doing as you say? Leah, please, can you find it in your heart to forgive what happened? I will never say or do anything rude like that to you again. And I just want you to know that the only reason you got drenched in water is because my hand slipped and the bucket poured on you. Are you talking about that bucket of water you carried with both hands and made sure to carry right over my head? Are you going to tell me that your hand slipped and caused all of that now? That water fell on top of my head, Raina. No matter how much you try and spin the situation, it won't change the fact that what you did was on purpose. That wasn't on purpose. All right, then. I'll just assume that's the case then. But I'll also assume that no matter what I try and say to you about what's happened, you will not learn to feel sorry about it. I do feel bad, though. I've apologized countless times now, right? Also, remember that I'm Justin's mom. And what difference should that make? You're going to marry him, right? So you will be with him for a very long time now, right? And having things continue like this with his mom for so long is a bit... I will be getting married to Justin, but you will not be my mother-in-law. You just mean that as you won't ever come over to my house and that you'll never come to family gatherings, right? Yes, that is right. But I'm also planning on cutting ties with you and never ever thinking of you as anything other than a rude stranger. Cutting ties with me? You're going to get married to my son without ever forgiving me? You're fine with getting married to him without his mother being okay with it? Yeah, I'm totally fine with it, and that's why I'm cutting ties with you. Before you found out about me being the daughter of a CEO, you really thought you were on top of me and could say anything you wanted about me, right? You assumed I wouldn't be able to do anything to you about your horrible actions, right? That's not at all what I was assuming. Then tell me why you're apologizing to me so much right now. Had I really been living a life where I was in such need of money, you would never be apologizing to me, right? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to become family or friends with people who think it's okay to make fun of others based on their financial situation. You have it all wrong. I do feel as though what I did was wrong. I'm sorry, Leah. I really messed up this time, so please don't say you'll cut ties with me anymore. My son's not even responding to me anymore, and my husband just ignores me now. Well, if you think that's all, then you'd better get yourself ready for what comes next. I think the way you treat others based off their family situation and your understanding of how they were raised is not something anyone else in this family can agree with. Also, I really just wanted you to tell me outright that you didn't like me. At least then I could have just stopped talking to you and none of this would have to be happening. Yet instead, you told me you wanted to teach me to become a good wife and then bullied me when I came over to start listening to you. I don't want to be a family to a monster like you, Raina. Nobody does. If I can't get you to forgive me, then what's going to happen to me? That has nothing to do with me, right? You're the only one that needs to figure all that out. My husband has been talking about getting a divorce. So please, Leah, find some way to forgive me. Leah, I'm asking you to please forgive me. I was raised by a very strong and independent father, and based off what he taught me, I cannot forgive you after what you've done to me. I don't have it in me anymore to listen to you make fun of my dad like you had been. I will make sure to meet both of you in person and apologize for everything I did. So please, I was in the wrong. And I promise to never say anything about your marriage to Justin again. There are times where even after an apology, forgiveness doesn't follow. And I don't need your approval to marry your son. I really wanted to become close to you since you are his mom and all that. But after seeing the type of person you really are, I no longer want to be close to you. So that's why I'm no longer going to listen to anything you have to say to me. This is really unfortunate, right? You didn't get to have your way in teaching me how to be your kind of punching bag wife. From there, Raina continued to try and call both myself and Justin over and over again. But the two of us continued to ignore her and never once picked up any of her calls. We moved into filling out our paperwork to become husband and wife, all while she continued to try and talk to us. And soon after that, we were married with no problems at all. To be honest about Raina, I really don't care what happens to her now. But of course, when looking at how upset both my dad and Justin are with her actions, I don't think I'll ever be talking to or seeing her again. On another note, due to what had happened, the love that Raina's husband had for her was wiped out. And now the two of them live in separate houses from one another. Apparently this isn't the first time something like this has happened with Raina, and there was someone else she chose to be a jerk to, and so this was the last straw for her husband. Back then, when her husband would have a word with her about it, she always told him that she'd never act that way again. But it only kept happening again and again, so it makes sense that this time her husband could no longer spoil her by allowing her to stay around him. I'm not sure what happened after this incident, but I'm sure this won't be the end of that woman's terrible attitude, and that things really will go downhill for her then. I had always felt a little bit at fault for causing Justin's family to fall apart after the actions of his mom this time, but hearing that she's always been a jerk, I lost all my feelings of sorrow for her and her husband. She may have become a little less extreme after her first time, but she continued to pull the same stunt all the time. And that's what forced her husband to not want anything to do with her anymore. But no matter what happens next with her, it'll have zero to do with me. I'm just happy that with my marriage to Justin now becoming a reality, I'll never have to deal with her again. I'm sure I'll meet people like her again in my life, but I'll make sure to look past their thoughts and actions towards me. And in doing so, hopefully cause them to lose interest in me and go away for good. That's at least how I want to handle things from now on. Luckily, Justin feels the same way as I do, and so together, we'll make sure that those around us are only ever kind people, and that we get rid of those that want to belittle others. We still have a long life ahead of us, but we won't forget about how we felt this time, and we'll make sure to use those feelings as our strengths next time. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.